Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Dear devotees, thank you very much for your kind association today. Let us begin with our Mangalacharan prayers. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Iti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadādhara Shrivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Thank you very much for your kind association. Let's continue with our study of Sri Jaiva Dharma by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur Mahashaya. We are doing the second chapter. I hope all of you can see my screen. Yes. So, okay, good. So we are studying the second chapter, which is entitled The Nitya Dharma of the Jiva is Pure and Eternal. And today we will try to finish this chapter. So we began this chapter with Sannyasi Mahashaya asking two questions to Shri Premdas Paramhams Babaji Maharaj, who is a disciple of Shri Pradyumna Das Brahmachari, who is a disciple and associate of Shri Nityananda Prabhu. Sannyasi Thakur is a Mayavadi sannyasi who comes to Shri Navadvip and is now associating with a pure devotee, Shri Premdas Paramhams Babaji Maharaj. He's chanting at least 2 lakh every day, and he is staying in Godrum Dvip with Babaji Maharaj, and day and night he is engaged in bhajan. So his two questions were, if the jiva is anu, if the jiva is very small, infinitesimal, how can the dharma, the nitya dharma of the jiva, who is very small, anu, how can that dharma be full and pure? If jiva is small, how can the jaiva dharma remain pure? Is it not possible that jiva, being so minute, so small, can become permanently transformed and its nitya dharma get changed? And how can it be pure? It's in the material world. The jiva is in the material world. How can the jiva be pure in the material world? Nothing is pure in this material world. So how can the jiva be free from the 3 modes of material nature? How can the jiva be free from material contamination? That is the first question. Second question is, if the natural function of the jiva is formed at the time it is constituted, the time of ghatana, how can that function be called eternal? We saw that any object that has existence is called vastu. And a vastu has its own constitutional nature based on its constitution, its composition. That is called the ghatana. When Krishna creates a particular object based on the composition by Krishna's desire, that vastu has certain guna, certain characteristics, which are called its nitya dharma. It is based on Krishna's desire at the time of creation of that vastu, at the time of ghatana. So if the jiva is a vastu, then how can the dharma of the jiva be eternal? Because the dharma of jiva, who is a spirit soul, is created when the jiva is created. And how can it be called eternal then? How can Jaiva dharma be eternal if the Jaiva dharma is determined based on the ghatana of the jiva, based on the desire of Krishna? So it seems like there was a beginning when the jiva got its dharma. So how can the Jaiva dharma be eternal? How can it be full and pure, and how can it be eternal? That is the question basically. And we started seeing the answers by Shri Premdas Paramahamsa Babaji Maharaj, and we were, I think, up to slide 12. So we saw how although jiva is very small, the dharma is eternal. And we saw how Krishna is the Brihat Chid Vastu and the jiva is Anu Chid Vastu. And the example is given of sparks emanating from fire. Krishna is like an undivided fire, and the sparks coming from the fire are the jiva. The sparks have the capacity to burn just like the fire, although they're very small sparks. If they are given proper atmosphere like petroleum, gasoline, then even a spark can produce a fire that can devour the whole world. Blazing fire it can cause, if it is given enough fuel. But if the spark falls away from the fire, then the spark will extinguish also. So both the things are possible for the spark. It can cause great fire or it can extinguish. Similarly, the jiva is like the spark from the fire. If it is in its constitutional position, it can inundate the whole world with love. And we saw the Shastric reference, Brahmanda Tarite Shakti Dhare Jane Jane. Shri Devakinandan Thakur has sung in connection to Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's devotees, his associates. Each and every one of them is capable of delivering a whole Brahmanda. But this Jaiva dharma, dharma of love of the jiva, is visible only when the jiva is in connection with Krishna, who is the Vishaya for the dharma, dharma Vishaya. Then what is Nitya Dharma? It is transcendental love for Krishna. Jivera Swarup hai, Krishna ra Nitya Das. And Dasatva, Seva cannot happen without Prem, because Seva is unconditional. So to love Krishna is the Nitya Dharma of the jiva. Prema Pumarto Mahan. Tesham Sartayuktanam Bhajatam Priti Purvakam. Priti or love. The jiva is a substance transcendental to mundane matter. Jiva is transcendental to mundane matter. And its characteristic is constitution. We saw this. Mind's characteristic is Sankalpa Vikalpa. The characteristics of buddhi, intelligence, is vivek, discrimination. And the function of ahankar is identification with the gross and subtle body. And the characteristic of the jiva is consciousness, chetana. His eternal function is divine love. Divine love is the eternal function of the jiva. Therefore, the constitutional function of the jiva is service to Krishna, which is the nature of prem. There cannot be service without prem. This Jaiva Dharma clearly says there cannot be any seva without prem. Two avastha, two conditions of the jiva, Shuddha avastha, Baddha avastha. Shuddha avastha is pure liberated state, Baddha avastha is conditioned state. In the liberated state, Shuddha avastha, the jiva is completely spiritual, completely chinmay,
has no connection with matter, mundane matter. However, in the liberated state, the jiva still remains anu. Not that once the jiva is liberated, the jiva becomes brihad chidvastu. No, the jiva will always remain small. Anu chidvastu, infinitesimal, very small. Difference between jiva and Krishna. Krishna is Supreme Godhead. Jiva can undergo change in condition because he has the quality of minuteness. Why the jiva becomes overwhelmed by Maya? Because it is minute. Krishna never undergoes a change of condition. Krishna never becomes conditioned. A jiva can become conditioned. Krishna cannot become conditioned by Maya because by his nature, Krishna is infinite cognition. He is brihad chidvastu. Whereas jiva is anu chidvastu, is small cognition, infinite cognition of Krishna. Jiva is das, Krishna is mayesh, he is the lord of Maya. Jiva by his essential constitution, the ghatana, as a vastu, is minute. Jiva is small. He is a part. He is a amsha, whereas Krishna is amshi, liable to contamination and subject to repeated change. By his essential, math classes. By his essential constitution as a vastu, a factual existent entity, Krishna is supreme, completely pure and eternal, unlike the jiva. Jiva is not supreme. Krishna is supreme. Now, difference between a Shuddha Jiva and a Baddha Jiva. Shuddha Jiva, by virtue of its Jaiva Dharma, the Jiva is undivided, pure, great, everlasting. The Shuddha Avastha. As long as the Jiva is pure, its Dharma displays spotless character. But when the Jiva gets covered over by Maya, then it loses its pure, spotless character. Baddha Avastha, Jiva's true nature is perverted. Just like water becomes ice, similarly the Jiva becomes conditioned, forgets Krishna, bereft of shelter, oppressed by mundane happiness and distress. Sukh, dukh, all the dvandva, dualities affect a Baddha Jiva. A Shuddha Avastha, in the spiritual world, the Jiva does not undergo all these changes like Sukh and Dukh. It's always Ananda, Satchit Ananda. As long as the Jiva remains pure, it maintains its identity and self-conception in accordance with its unadulterated spiritual function, Swadharma. The Jiva is in Swadharma. Whereas Baddha Jiva, the Jiva's course of material existence comes into effect as soon as he forgets his attitude of service to Krishna. Whereas the Shuddha Jiva does not forget his service to Krishna. The Shuddha Jiva, innate and original egoism is therefore rooted in the conception that I am a servant of Krishna. Chaitanya Radas Mui Chaitanya Radas, Chaitanya Radas Mui Tara Dasera Das. That is true ego, to identify oneself as Krishna Das. Whereas pure egoism recedes in the Baddha Avastha and assumes many different forms. I am Indian, I am man, I am rich, I am educated, I am this, I am that. All these are impure egoisms. Pure egoism goes away as soon as he is contaminated by association with Maya. Therefore, Shripad Narad Muni says, the definition of bhakti is sarva upadhi vinirmukta tat paratvena nirmalam. We have to become nirmal, completely free from the mala of different designations. I am this, I am that. Janasya mohoyam aham mameti. And then Rishikena Rishikesh Sevanam Bhakti Uchate. Gross and subtle bodies then cover. As soon as we develop different desires, gross and subtle bodies cover the pure constitutional identity. And first there is subtle body, then there is the gross body. We saw that last time. When there are Sankalpa Vikalpa, there are different desires, Rag and Dvesh, which are the functions of the mind, then we get a subtle body. And because there are desires to perform karma, we receive a gross body. So then the gross body is called Sthul Sharir, subtle body is called Linga Sharir, or Karana Sharir, or Sukshma Sharir, different names for the subtle body. In his pure spiritual form, Jiva is exclusively servant of Krishna, pure ego. Jaiva Dharma is repeatedly teaching this point, that our eternal Dharma is to be a servant of Krishna. When the Jiva identifies with the subtle body, his original pure egoism, that I am servant of Krishna, is covered. As soon as the soul identifies with the subtle body is given because we look at Maya. We look away from Krishna, we look at Maya. Then Maya Devi gives us a subtle body. And then he thinks that he can enjoy the fruits of his actions. So first is the pure egoism, that I am servant of Krishna. We forget that, then we get a second egoism in the subtle body, Linga Sharir. Second egoism comes. where we think we can enjoy the fruits of our actions. We can enjoy. Who is the enjoyer? Bhoktaram yatna tapasam sarva loka maheshwaram. Krishna is the bhokta. He is the enjoyer. But when we forget our pure ego and we have a false ego, we feel I am the enjoyer. I am the doer. Karta aham iti manyate. Ahankar, because of ahankar. Ahankar vimudhatma karta aham iti manyate. Second ego comes, subtle body. That I can enjoy the fruits of actions. Now to do action and to enjoy, we need a gross body. When this combines with the soul's identification with the gross body, sthul sharir, a third egoism is assumed. First egoism is pure ego. I am Krishna Das. We forget that, we get the second ego. When we look at Maya, oh, this is Maya. Maybe I should enjoy her. Hare Krishna. And then we get the subtle ego. Then to fulfill it, we get a gross body, sthul sharir. Third ego is developed. And we forget the first ego. Having obtained a gross body, we think I am Brahman, I am king, I am poor, I am miserable, I am happy, I am overrun by disease, I have got cancer, I have got diabetes, I have got lamentation, I am woman, I am man, I am master of this person, he is my servant, I am the manager, he is my subordinate, he is my boss, this and that. Different types of upadhis, different types of identification they come. Thus, the conditioned soul identifies himself with many different types of gross bodily conceptions, different conceptions. I am Indian, I am American, all that. When the jiva associates with these different types of false egoism, his constitutional function becomes perverted. Now the true ego is completely lost. The intrinsic constitutional function, swadharma of the jiva, is unalloyed prem. Okay, now this is the first slide for today. Today's class begins from here. Okay, we were just reviewing last class. So now we start from this slide. This is slide number 13. We had covered 12 slides. Total, there are 35 slides in the second chapter. I have already shared the PDF on the WhatsApp group. You can have it. So this is the beginning. Shri Gurave Gaura Chandraya Radhikaya Tadalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadbhaktaya Namo Namaha. Hare Krishna. So now we are seeing Shri Premdas Paramahams Babaji Maharaj is instructing Sannyasi Thakur. Says the intrinsic constitutional function, swadharma of the jiva, is unalloyed prem. Again, this point is emphasized. What is the Jaiva dharma? It is unalloyed prem, pure prem, without any ulterior motive. Anya abhilashita shunyam, jnana karmadi anavratam, anukulyena krishnanu shilanam bhaktir uttama. Uttama bhakti, prema bhakti means pure, unalloyed. This prem manifests in a perverted way in the subtle body in the form of happiness and distress, attachment and aversion, raga dvesh, and so on. So now please pay attention. This is very, very important Siddhanta. Love is a force. Love is an energy. Why do I say love is an energy? It is Ladini Shakti. Understand? Ladini Shakti. So love is of power. Love is an energy. Love is Shakti. Ladini Shakti. And Nitya Siddha Krishna Prem. Krishna Prem is there in the constitution of the jiva. Just like liquidity is in the constitution of water, Krishna Prem is there within us in the constitution, in the ghatana of the jiva as a vastu. Krishna Prem is there because our Jaiva Dharma is Krishna Prem. Jaiva Dharma is Krishna Prem. So now Krishna Prem is there in the constitution of the jiva, which is and Prem is a energy. It's a force. It's a power. Now please pay attention. We have Krishna Prem, and Krishna Prem is a Shakti, Ladini Shakti. It's a power. When we lose our true ego, that I am Krishna Das, I am a servant of Krishna, when we forget this, Krishna bhuliya say jiv, anadi bahirmukh, ataiva maya tare deha samsar dukh. Then Maya affects us and we get a subtle body made up of mind, intelligence, and false ego. That energy, that force, that power, that Ladini Shakti that is in the constitution of the jiva, when covered by the subtle body, which is made up of sankalp vikalpa, rag means attachment, dvesh, hatred. Subtle body is made up of rag and dvesh. The mind has covered the soul because the subtle body, the subtle elements are created by the Maya Shakti, 3 modes of material nature. Jeev is Anu. Maya is very big. It's a Shakti. It's a Bahiranga Shakti of Krishna. And the Tatastha Shakti is made up of individual souls. So we are individual and very small. Even though we belong to Krishna, we are Krishna's Amsha. When we turn away from Krishna, when we become disconnected from Krishna and we look at Maya, Maya is very big compared to us. And she covers us. She covers us with her subtle elements, mind, intelligence, false ego. When the little tiny soul is covered by mind, intelligence, and false ego, the subtle body, this energy, this power of love that we have, that power of love, that energy takes the form of different types of desires, attachments, aversions, rag, dvesh. It takes that form. So that energy of love, instead of being channeled to serve Krishna, seva, now it wants to serve the second ego, which is, I am this body, I can enjoy the fruits of my activity. See, my dear friends, if we sit down and analyze, all we want to do is enjoy the fruits in this world. Fruits of our hard work and fruits of hard work of others. We simply want to enjoy. That's what keeps us in this material world. The tendency, the desire to enjoy. And where is this vague, this desire to enjoy with our manah shashtani indriyani prakritisthani karshati, working hard in material nature to enjoy with the 5 senses and the 6th sense, mind, manah shashta. The 6th sense is mana, mind. So with our netrendriya, with our granendriya, rasendriya, shravanendriya, sparshendriya, tvacha. 5 senses, knowledge acquiring senses, eyes, nose, tongue, ears, skin, and mind. Subtle enjoyment, pratishtha, appreciation. We simply want to enjoy with these 6 senses. And the power to enjoy, the force to enjoy, the energy to enjoy is coming from that prem energy, Ladini Shakti that is there in us. Instead of being channeled to serve Krishna, now it is channeled to serve the new ego that we have developed, the false ego, that I am the enjoyer. I can enjoy the fruits of my actions in this material world. You see, one may think, why helplessly I am drawn to commit sins? Why helplessly I am forced to enjoy separately from Krishna? Because we are wrongly channelizing the energy of love, Krishna Prem, in a perverted way. That is the meaning of this word that I am highlighting here. You understand? Perverted way. The energy of love that we have, love for Krishna, is now wrongly channeled to love for the sense objects. Different Vishaya Bhog, different Vishaya Lalasa, different objects of the senses. We are running after pratishtha, appreciation, glorification for the mind. We are running for different objects to taste and eat, restaurants, this, that, this menu, that menu for the tongue. We want to see so many things with our eyes. We want to touch so many things with our skin. So we want to simply run after sense objects, which is a perverted way of using the energy of love. And who is a guru? A pure devotee is one who is using that energy of love in the natural way to love Radha and Krishna. Radha Krishna. Shri Radha Govinda Preme Sada Yena Bhasi. I want to be immersed in Radha Govinda Prem. The last verse of Tulsi Arti. Dina Krishna Dasa Kohe. That one. Shri Radha Govinda Preme Sada Yena Bhasi. That is the constitutional position. Guru means one who is using all the energy in the service of Krishna. That is constitutional position. So if we are using our energy of love for sense objects, then we are using it in a perverted way. If we are using our energy to serve Krishna and we are deriving a divine happiness from that, that means we are situated in our constitutional position. So this perversion of the energy of love, are you understanding Ladini Shakti? How it becomes perverted in the conditioned state. Now we are running after Vishay Bhog. Vishay Bhog. We want to run after the objects of senses. That is a perversion. And that is because our true ego has been perverted into a false ego. That I am not Krishna Das, I am Swami. Hare Krishna. I am the enjoyer. And therefore we become Godas. We become servants of our own senses. This perversion is observed in more concentrated form in the gross body as the pleasures of eating, drinking, and contact with sense objects. I already explained this. Vishay Bhog. Contact with sense object, Vishay Bhog. You should understand clearly that the eternal function of the Jiva, known as the Nitya Dharma, Jaiva Dharma means Nitya Dharma, is manifest only in his pure state. Only when the soul is in the pure state will we experience the real Nitya Dharma. Nitya Dharma is by nature complete, pure, and eternal. It is eternal, it is complete, it is pure. We are not able to experience it. A cube of ice is not able to experience what it means to flow. Water is meant to flow freely. It can take any shape. It can just flow. But a cube of ice is saying, oh, I wish I could flow. I have forgotten how to flow. Well, that's because you are frozen. If you come to room temperature, you will melt and you will come into your constitutional position. And then you will understand what it means to flow. You're meant to flow. The ability to flow is within you, my dear H2O. You just need to come in the right environment, room temperature. And what is room temperature for all of us? Sadhu Sangha, Sarva Shastra kahe, Lava Matra Sadhu Sangha, Sarva Siddhi hoye. Krishna Prema Mula Janma Haya Sadhu Sangha. Krishna Prema Janmete ho Haya Mukhya Anga. Sadhu Sangha is so important. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu teaches in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita that Krishna Prema Janma Mula Hai Sadhu Sangha. The root cause of getting Krishna Prem is Sadhu Sangha. And Krishna Prema Janmete ho Hai Mukhya Anga. And even when Krishna Prem is being experienced, we have reached the platform of Krishna Prem, still the Mukhya Anga of Bhakti is Sadhu Sangha. Therefore, Srila Narottam Das Thakur, who is a fully self-realized Atma Sakshatkari, Bhagavad Sakshatkari, Mahabhagavad, Mahapurush, Srila Narottam Das Thakur Mahasaya, he is still praying for the association of the devotees. Tadera charana sevi bhakta sanevas, janame janame mori ei abhilash. My only abhilasha is, birth after birth, may I associate with those who are the servants of the dust of the lotus feet of the six Goswamis. Tadera charana sevi bhakta sanevas, janame janame mori ei abhilash. How beautiful is this? Even in the liberated state, a devotee wants association of devotees. Aham hare tava padaika mula dasa nudaso bhavitasmi bhuya manah smareta supater gunamste grini tava karma karotu kaya. So therefore, sadhu sangha is very important. The dharma that arises in the conditioned state is known as naimittik dharma, circumstantial. Water becoming ice is a circumstantial thing. Somehow it got exposed to sub-zero temperatures and it has frozen. But that's not a normal condition of water. Ice, solid, cold. No. So dharma that arises in the conditioned state. So our forgetfulness of Krishna is naimittik. It is a circumstantial thing that we have turned away from Krishna. Krishna bhuliya jiv, anadi, bahirmukh. But anadi, since time immemorial, we have forgotten Krishna. Since the beginning of time. I said, since the beginning of time. Hare Krishna. How is that? How is that? We'll come to that. That comes later in this chapter. So please understand that anything that happens because of some nimitta. Nimitta means some cause. Anything that happens because of some circumstantial cause is naimittik, not nitya dharma. Nitya dharma is complete, pure, eternal, whereas naimittik dharma is incomplete, impure, and temporary. Naimittik dharma. For example, Lord Buddha coming and saying that forget the Vedas. All these animal sacrifices are mentioned in the Vedas. Just forget them. Just become non-violent. Is that eternal dharma? No. It is naimittik dharma. Some situation was there, time plus circumstance. Krishna came and said something. Naimittik dharma. It cannot be nitya dharma. It cannot be Jaiva dharma. It is naimittik. So my dear friends, the take-home message is we must identify what is nitya and what is naimittik. Please. What is nitya dharma and what is naimittik dharma? This we have to understand. Nitya dharma is to love Krishna, to be a servant of Krishna. And naimittik dharma is anything else that is done under certain circumstances. It is temporary. Naimittik dharma. The unalloyed Vaishnava dharma that has been depicted in Srimad Bhagavatam, Savai Pumsam Paro Dharmo Yato Bhaktir Adhokshaje. Ahetuki. It is not naimittik. It is not because of some hetu, some cause. It is ahetuki, causeless, unmotivated. Ahetuki, and it is apratihata. It is uninterrupted. Ahetuki apratihata. Yayatma suprasidati. That is the param dharma, eternal dharma. Savai pumsam paro dharma. What is that? Yato bhaktir adhokshaja. Krishna bhakti. Srimad Bhagavatam teaches that. The various types of dharma that are propagated in the world may be divided into three categories. My dear friends, we have reached a very critical juncture. Please give your undivided attention here. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur Mahashaya, through Sri Premdas Paramahams Babaji Maharaj, is teaching all of us. There are three types of dharma. Nitya dharma, naimittik dharma, and anitya dharma. Please pay attention. Nitya dharma is Bhagavad dharma. Naimittik dharma is anything that is circumstantial. Some people are completely uncivilized. You just go and you give them some basic rules. Speak the truth. Don't steal. Don't envy. Some basic rules are given. Don't kill. Don't murder. So like that, basic rules are given. That is circumstantial. That cannot be eternal. That cannot be eternal. Eternal means to love Krishna. If someone is not teaching completely love Krishna, Krishna is a person, you have a relationship with Krishna as servant, then it is naimittik. So all the other forms of dharma that are meant to be practiced under certain circumstances, they are naimittik dharma, circumstantial dharma. And then there is anitya dharma also. Anitya dharma, which is impermanent religion. This we have to understand. What is anitya dharma? Nitya dharma, naimittik dharma, anitya dharma. Okay, we'll explain all these very nicely. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur has explained very nicely. What is anitya dharma? Anitya dharma is that religion which does not speak about the existence of the Supreme God, Ishwar. And it does not accept that the soul is eternal. Now, for example, take Jainism and Buddhism. That is Shunyavad, correct? Both Jainism and Buddhism are Shunyavad. There is no explanation about the eternality of the soul. There is no description of Ishwar in these two religions. It is Shunyavad. Basically, you just attain enlightenment, nirvana, and ultimately everything is zero. This world is false, everything is zero. So this Jainism and Buddhism are anitya dharma. They are impermanent religions. Anitya dharma. Because they don't speak about the existence of God, Ishwar, and they don't accept the eternality of the soul. So Buddhism and Jainism are anitya dharma. Naimittik dharma acknowledges the existence of God. What is a naimittik dharma? It acknowledges the existence of Ishwar, God. and the eternality of the soul also. It accepts that yes, there is a God, and yes, we are a soul, spiritual soul. That also they accept, but only endeavors to obtain the mercy of Ishwar through provisional methods. For example, we are doing Griha Pravesh. We buy a new house and we are doing Griha Pravesh. So we may worship certain demigods, and we want auspiciousness. We want there should be no vigna, there should be no obstacles, no problems. So we are praying. So we are accepting that yes, there is God ultimately, and we accept we are also soul, but we are trying to get the favor of God, obtain the mercy of God through some provisional methods, not the way Krishna wants, not through love. It is through some business transaction, give and take. So that is Naimittik Dharma. So here actually I gave example of Buddhism. In Naimittik Dharma, I gave example previously. I said Buddhism, stop killing animals. So actually that is the example of Anitya Dharma, not Naimittik Dharma. Naimittik Dharma would be something like, doing some puja for good health, or doing some puja to get wealth. Health, wealth, bhukti, mukti, all those things. So that is Naimittik. To get the mercy of Krishna through provisional methods, through some business transactions, not the way Krishna says. Whereas Nitya Dharma strives to obtain not anything from Krishna. Give us our daily bread. No, not like that. It is to obtain the service of Bhagwan. Radha Krishna Seva Pao, Ei Abhilashi. Namo Namaha Tulasi Krishna Prayasi. So Nitya Dharma strives to obtain Seva, selfless service of Bhagwan by means of what? Unalloyed prem. Unalloyed prem. That is Nitya Dharma. So anything that doesn't talk about unalloyed prem. What is the meaning of unalloyed prem? Prem that is not mixed with any other desire. Anya abhilashita shunyam. So doing any puja with some sankalpa to get something in return, it is not unalloyed prem. Correct? But to bring Radha and Krishna in a boat and to do boat festival for Radha and Krishna, Nauka Vihar Leela of Radha Krishna. Aha, that is based on prem. To have a boat festival for Radha and Krishna, or to have a holy festival for Radha and Krishna, or to do Shringar Arti of Radha and Krishna, to sing Gaur Arti. We are not asking for anything material. Just Gaur Arti. Aha, Gauranga Mahaprabhu is having his Arti on the banks of Ganga, in the forests of Navadvip. So beautiful. He's sitting on a Simhasan. Brahmaji has come to offer Arti. Shivji, Shukdev Goswami, Narad Muni are overwhelmed. So this is just for the pleasure of Mahaprabhu. So this is Prem. So Nitya Dharma. So please understand what is Anitya Dharma. It does not accept the eternality of the soul and the existence of God. Naimittik Dharma acknowledges the soul and God, but it's not based on prem. We want to obtain the mercy of Krishna. We want some favor from God through some provisional means. Whereas Nitya Dharma doesn't want any favor from Krishna. Nitya Dharma doesn't want any favors from Krishna, not asking Krishna for anything, save and accept service. Radha Krishna Seva Pao, Ei Abhilashi. No other Abhilasha. Only Seva. That is Nitya Dharma. It is based on prem. Is it clear? Anitya Dharma, Naimittik Dharma, and Nitya Dharma. Nitya Dharma may be known by different names according to differences of country, race, language. However, it is one and supremely beneficial. Actually, Nitya Dharma is one. It may be called by different names in different countries, different races, and different languages. But ultimately, it is one. So Nitya Dharma also has many gradations. Please understand. Nitya Dharma also has many gradations. The ideal example, the best, purest form of Nitya Dharma is called, what is it called? Vaishnava Dharma. Hare Krishna. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Vaishnavas are the best. The ideal example of Nitya Dharma is Vaishnava Dharma, which is prevalent in India. The pristine state of Vaishnava Dharma is that Dharma which Bhagwan Shri Shachinandan Gaurahari, the Lord of our heart, has taught to the world. Shri Premdas Paramhams Babaji Maharaj is saying that Vaishnava Dharma are of, Nitya Dharma are of different types, but the pristine form of Nitya Dharma is Vaishnava Dharma. And among that, also, the one that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given, that is the most pristine form of Vaishnava Dharma. Ideal example of Nitya Dharma is Vaishnava Dharma as practiced in India. And there are many sampradaya in which Vaishnava Dharma is practiced. Please try to understand. And they are all ideal. They are all perfect. Perfect examples of Nitya Dharma, Vaishnava Dharma. There are many Vaishnava sampradayas. But among all these ideal examples of Nitya Dharma, Vaishnava Dharma, the pristine state of Vaishnava Dharma is what Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given. Really. If you impartially study the Siddhanta of all the Sampradayas, one can easily understand that ultimately 500 years ago, what Prem Murti Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given, that is really the essence and the pristine example of Vaishnava Dharma. It has the essence of all the Sampradayas. So this is the verdict of Shri Premdas Paramhams Babaji Maharaj, that among Vaishnava Dharma also, the most pristine is that which is taught by Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu matamidam tatradara napara. Okay. Now what happens? At this point, Sannyasi Thakur with folded hands says to Shri Premdas Paramhams Babaji Maharaj, Prabhu, I am constantly witnessing the super excellence of spotless Vaishnava Dharma, which Shri Shachinandan Gaurahari has revealed. And I have clearly realized the contemptible nature of Shri Shankaracharya's monistic doctrine. He doesn't even say Shri. He says, I have realized the contemptible nature of Shankaracharya's monistic doctrine. Because he's a Mayavadi, remember? He's coming from Kashi. So all his life he has studied the philosophy of Shri Shankaracharya. So he's criticizing the doctrine taught by Shri Shankaracharya. Sannyasi Thakur says, now I have clearly realized the contemptible nature of Shankaracharya's monistic doctrine. My dear friends, I want you to pay close attention what happens in Jaiva Dharma now. Sannyasi Thakur has criticized Shri Shankaracharya. Now see what happens. This is a very important Siddhanta. When Srila Premdas Paramhams Babaji Maharaj heard the name Shri Shankaracharya, he offered prostrated obeisances unto the Acharya. Hare Krishna. Jaise Shripad Shankaracharya ka naam suna, he offered obeisances. Sannyasi Thakur is criticizing, and Shri Premdas Paramhams Babaji Maharaj offers obeisances. And then the first words that come out from his lotus mouth, Shri Premdas Paramhams Babaji Maharaj says something very beautiful. Shankaraha Shankaraha Sakshat. Ādi Shankaracharya is Bhagwan Shankar, Mahadev. Shivji took birth as Ādi Shankaracharya. So he says this, Shankaraha Shankaraha Sakshat. How beautiful is that? That Ādi Shankaracharya is Lord Shankar. Shri Shankaracharya is none other than Mahadev Shankar. You should always remember that Lord Shankar is Guru for the Vaishnavas. One of the 4 Vaishnava Sampradaya is Rudra Sampradaya. Sampradaya of Lord Shiva. And for this reason, Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has referred to Shripad Shankaracharya as Acharya, spiritual preceptor who teaches by example, Acharya. For his own part, Shri Shankaracharya was a perfect Vaishnava. Vaishnavana Metha Shambhu. Who wrote Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam? Who wrote our Jagannath Ashtakam? Who wrote Ganga Stotram? It is Shripad Ādi Shankaracharya. For his own part, Shri Shankaracharya was a perfect Vaishnava. At the time of Shri Shankaracharya's appearance in India, there was a great need for a powerful Guna avatar like him to descend. Why? Let us see. because the study of the Vedic Shastras and the practice of Varnashram Dharma had become practically extinct in India. Why? Due to Anitya Dharma, because of the influence of Shunyavad, voidism, the nihilistic Buddhist philosophy. And the Buddhist philosophy is vehemently opposed to the personal conception of Bhagavan. Everybody's understanding? Buddhistic philosophy is opposed to the personal conception of Bhagavan. Buddhistic philosophy had spread tremendously throughout Bharatvarsha at the time of Shripad Shankaracharya's advent. Although it partially accepts the principle of the living being's identity as a conscious spiritual soul, a Jivatma, it is an extreme example of Anitya Dharma, impermanent religion. Srila Thakur Mahashaya is saying that Buddhism is an extreme example of Anitya Dharma, impermanent religion. The Brahmanas of that time, when Shripad Shankaracharya came, had abandoned the Vedic Dharma and had in effect all become Buddhists. Hare Krishna. At that time, the powerful Guna avatar, Sri Shankar, came as Sri Shankaracharya. Shankaraha Sakshat. At that point, Sri Shankaracharya appeared as an extremely powerful incarnation of Lord Mahadev. Shripad Ādi Shankaracharya re-established the credibility of the Vedic literatures and converted the Shunyavad doctrine of voidism, Shunyavad, into Brahmavad. Haribol. Shripad Ādi Shankaracharya converted Shunyavad, upgraded them to Brahmavad, the doctrine of Nirvishesh, featureless Brahma. Nirvishesh, Brahmavad. This was an extraordinary feat, and India will remain ever indebted to Shripad Ādi Shankaracharya for this tremendous contribution to upgrade the population from Shunyavad to Brahmavad. Shri Premdas Paramahamsa Babaji Maharaj continues his instruction, says all activities in this world fall into one of the two categories. And my dear friends, I would like you to please understand this very clearly. This is the crux of this chapter. All activities in this world fall under two categories. One, activities that are relative to a particular period of time. We call it naimittik. Second, activities that are applicable for all time. They are called nitya. Naimittik dharma and nitya dharma. Please understand. Naimittik activities and nitya dharma. Naimittik dharma, nitya dharma. Two types. The work of Sri Ādi Shankaracharya was relative to a particular period and bestowed tremendous benefit. So the doctrine taught by Shripad Ādi Shankaracharya, is it nitya dharma? No, it is naimittik. Because situation tha na, everybody had become Shunyavadi. So he came and he upgraded them little bit to Brahmavad. So the work of Sri Ādi Shankaracharya was naimittik dharma, because it was related to a particular period, circumstances, but it bestowed tremendous benefit. Sri Shankaracharya laid the foundation upon which great acharyas such as Shripad Ramanujacharya erected the edifice of pure Vaishnava Dharma. The Dharma taught by Sri Ramanujacharya, is it naimittik or nitya? Nitya, yes. It is a pure Vaishnava Dharma. Shripad Ramanujacharya taught pure Vaishnava Dharma. Vaishnava Dharma means nitya dharma. Pure Vaishnava Dharma. The most pure form of nitya dharma, Vaishnava Dharma, was taught by Shripad Ramanujacharya. But Shripad Ramanujacharya did it upon the foundation built by Sri Shankaracharya. Because Sri Shankaracharya re-established the authenticity of the Vedas, Upanishads. And then Shripad Ramanujacharya came and built pure Vaishnava Dharma on that. Consequently, Sri Shankaracharya was a great friend, an Acharya, preceptor, who pioneered Vaishnava Dharma. Haribol. Sri Shankaracharya and the Vaishnavas both accept that the sentient living entities, the Anu Chid Vastu, the Jiva in this material world are completely distinct. Sripad Shankaracharya also says Jiva is there, and Vaishnava also says Jiva is there. They are completely distinct and separate from their gross and subtle material bodies. Sripad Shankaracharya also says we are not this body. We are not the gross body. We are not the subtle body. We are neither the Sthul Sharir nor the Linga Sharir. And the Vaishnava also accept we are not the Sharir. Jivas are spiritually existent. We are spiritual. Both the camps, Sripad Shankaracharya and the Vaishnava camp, both admit, both agree on this. And we both agree that liberation, mukti, entails giving up all connection with this material world. Correct? Mukta Sangha, we say. Kaler dosha nidhe rajan astiyo eka mahan guna kirtana deva Krishna se mukta sangha param rajit. Liberation, mukti means freedom from all connection with this material world. This we both agree, Shankaracharya and Vaishnavacharyas. Consequently, there is a great deal of agreement between the doctrine of Sri Shankaracharya and that of the Vaishnavacharyas. We agree soul, we agree that we are not the body, and we agree that liberation means freedom from attachment to this material world. So there is a lot of agreement here. Up to the point of liberation, there is agreement. Sri Shankaracharya has even taught that the worship of Sri Hari is the method by which one can purify the heart and attain liberation. Narayana para avyaktat. Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam, Mudamate. So much Sripad Shankaracharya has taught. So worship of Sri Hari is the method for purification of the heart and attaining liberation is taught by Sripad Shankaracharya. So what is the difference now? Look at this carefully. Sripad Shankaracharya only remained silent regarding what extraordinary destination the jiva attains after liberation. Up to liberation, it is same. Sripad Shankaracharya stops at liberation. But our Vaishnava Acharyas like Sripad Ramanujacharya, Sripad Madhvacharya, Sri Vishnu Swami, and Sripad Vallabhacharya, they tell us, Sripad Nimbarkacharya, they tell us what happens after liberation. Dasyarati, Sakhyarati, Vatsalyarati, Madhurati, all that was not spoken by Sri Shankaracharya. But our Vaishnava Acharyas did that. But up to liberation, there is agreement. And then our Vaishnava Acharyas take us beyond liberation. The extraordinary destination of the jiva after liberation. That Sri Shankaracharya did not teach. Sri Shankaracharya knew perfectly well that if the jivas could be promoted to strive for liberation through the worship of Hari, they would gradually become attached to the pleasures of bhajan and thus become Shuddha Bhakta, pure devotees. Therefore, he taught Hari Bhajan, Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam, because he knew once they do little bhajan, they will get attached. It is Swadu Swadu Pade Pade. So nice. That is why he simply pointed out the path and did not reveal further confidential secrets of Vaishnava Dharma. He left it for Sripad Ramanujacharya, Sripad Madhvacharya and others. Those who have scrutinized the commentaries of Sri Shankaracharya can understand his inner intention. But those who are only preoccupied with the external aspect of his teachings remain far from the threshold of Vaishnava Dharma. I have personally heard from the lotus mouth of my beloved Guru Maharaj, Srila Radhanath Swami Maharaj. He said, I am not saying you should do this, but I have read in detail the commentary of Sripad Shankaracharya on Bhagavad Gita. And I only found bhakti, bhakti, and bhakti in that commentary. This Srila Radhanath Swami Maharaj said in a class. So I'm not saying you should do it, but I read it and I only found bhakti, bhakti, and bhakti. So that's what Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur is saying here. Those who have scrutinized the commentaries of Sri Shankaracharya can understand his inner intention. But those who are only preoccupied with the external aspect of his teachings remain far from the threshold of Vaishnava Dharma. Hari Bol. What is prem? Now, my dear friends, please pay attention. This is ecstasy, ecstatic. What is prem? Shri Premdas Paramahamsa Babaji Maharaj is asking, what is prem? You should understand clearly that prem is the unadulterated function by which two transcendental entities are spontaneously attracted to each other. Please pay attention, my dear friends. What is prem? It is the unadulterated, means uncontaminated function by which two transcendental entities are spontaneously attracted to each other. So now, Shama Kishori Mataji, I love my MacBook Pro. Is that prem?
No,
Why?
it's temporary and not transcendental. One is material, right?
Am I material?
You are transcendental, your MacBook Pro is material.
MacBook Pro is material. So the feelings between me and my MacBook Pro, can they ever be called prem? No. See the definition. Prem is the pure, unadulterated relationship between two transcendental entities. Two transcendental entities. And these entities are spontaneously attracted. So, Satyarupa Mataji and Janani Mataji, I don't feel like chanting, but what to do? All of you join on the Zoom call now. You're waiting since 3 o'clock in the morning. So I also have to join and chant. Is that prem?
No, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
It has to be spontaneous. Raganuga Bhakti. Spontaneous. So see, every word is important, what Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur is writing. What is prem? We should clearly understand that prem, love, prem is the unadulterated function by which two transcendental entities are spontaneously attracted to each other. Nobody has to force. It is not Vaidhi Bhakti. It is spontaneous. Prem cannot occur without the separate existence of two transcendental entities. Correct? There should be two transcendental entities for love to be there, because it is anyonya. It is between those two entities. Krishna Prem is the dharma by which all transcendental entities are eternally attracted to the supreme transcendental entity, Shri Krishna. So Krishna is Vastava Vastu. We are also Vastu. And the spontaneous attraction between them, the two transcendentals, Jiva and Jagdish, that is called Prem. Krishna Prem. Krishna Prem is the dharma by which all transcendental entities, not one or two, all of them are eternally attracted to the supreme transcendental entity, Shri Krishna. So therefore, for Prem, it needs two people, correct? Because two transcendental entities are spontaneously attracted to each other. Now let's analyze Mayavad based on the principle of Prem. Everybody understood? For Prem, you need two entities, transcendental entities, and they should be spontaneously attracted to each other. Now see, the ideology of Prem rests on the eternally established truths that Krishna has his own eternal separate existence. Ishvara Parama Krishna. And that the Jivas have their own eternal separate existence. And who is the leader of the devotees? Bhishma Dev says in Bhishma Stuti, first canto, who is the leader of the devotees? Bhakta Pungave, it is Krishna. So under the Anugatya, under the leadership of Krishna, this happens. And that this Prem Tattva is also an eternally perfect truth. Nitya Siddha Tattva. Prem is Nitya Siddha Tattva. It is not something that comes about temporary. Prem is Nitya Siddha Tattva. Now see, the distinct presence of three separate ingredients are required. The relisher. Who is relisher? Krishna. The object of relish. Who is relished by Krishna? We, Jiva. And the act of relishing happens through Prem. See, relisher is Krishna, relished is the Jiva, and the act of relishing happens through Prem. These three ingredients are required for Prem. And these three are Nitya Siddha Tattva because Prem is Nitya Siddha Tattva. If the relisher of Prem, now please listen, if the relisher of Prem, Krishna, and the object of relish, Jiva, are one and the same, Mayavad, are one and the same, then Prem cannot be an eternal entity. How can there be Prem if everything is one? In Nirvisheshavad, they say that we all become one. There is only Brahman. There's nothing else. The distinction between Jiva and God is obliterated. Everything is one, homogeneous Brahman. Okay? If that is there, then prem cannot exist, because prem requires two entities. Now, Shripad Shankaracharya's doctrine of Advaita Siddhi implies oneness in the sense that spiritual entities have become one in their spiritual function, their Chid Dharma. Now, when Shripad Shankaracharya gave the tattva of Advaita Siddhi, he taught this doctrine, this principle of Advaita Siddhi. Advaitavad, hai na? Shripad Shankaracharya, Advaitavad. There is no two-ness, there's oneness. Advaitavad Siddhi, Advaita Siddhi. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur is explaining, Srila Premdas Paramabhaj is explaining that it implies oneness in the sense that the spiritual entities have become one in their spiritual function. Like Rupa Manjari, Lavanga Manjari, Ananga Manjari, Vilasa Manjari, Prema Manjari, they are all serving Radharani together. They are one in their function. That is a spiritual oneness. That is the Advaitavad. That there is no duality there, friend, enemy. They have become one in their seva. That is the real Advaitavad that Shripad Shankaracharya taught. But the modern scholars of the school of Sri Shankaracharya, who have adopted the Advaita Siddhi doctrine, philosophy of Sri Shankaracharya, they have tried to establish that spiritual entities have themselves become indistinguishably one. One and the same substance. Everything is one. In so doing, they have propagated a distorted version. It is not the version taught by Sri Shankaracharya. Vaishnavas declare this philosophy of everything is one to be opposed to the Vedas, because it denies the eternality of prem. If everything is one, there cannot be prem, because prem requires two entities. Prem is the third entity. And the Krishna and Jiva are the two. And these three are required for prem. The relisher, object of relish, and the act of relishing through prem. So because the philosophy of oneness denies the existence of prem, prem cannot exist if there is only one entity. So therefore, it is opposed to the Vedas, and Vaishnavas don't accept this distorted philosophy. Shripad Shankaracharya never meant this by Advaita Siddhi. What he meant was there is no difference in our love for Krishna. Everyone has become one in service of Krishna. It's one Sankirtan to serve Krishna. That is the meaning. But they have distorted it. And it was meant to be distorted. That was Krishna's Leela. Mayavadam asat shastram prachannam bauddham uchyate mayeva vihitam devi kalau brahmana murtina. It was a plan, great plan to create the foundation. Sannyas Thakur, the Mayavadi Sannyasi Thakur, who has now become a Vaishnava, said with great reverence. He immediately understood his mistake. Oh, I criticized the Acharya. I criticized Shripad Shankaracharya. Oh Prabhu, my heart is deeply pierced with the realization that the Mayavad doctrine is most insignificant. Not Shripad Shankaracharya's doctrine of Advaita Shuddhi. No, that is pure. But Mayavad doctrine, which is a distortion of Advaita Siddhi, that is insignificant. Today you have mercifully dispelled whatever lingering doubts I had in this regard. I feel a strong desire to give up wearing this Mayavad sannyas dress. I want to give up this Mayavad sannyas dress. Shri Premdas Paramabhavaji Maharaj says, Markata vairagya na kara loka dekhaiya yatha yogya vishaya bhunja anasakta haya. Don't be a Markat Vairagi. Don't be a monkey renunciate. Today sannyas dress, tomorrow I give it up. No. Antare nishtha kara bahya lok vyavhar achirata Krishna tomai koribe udhar. Such a beautiful verse. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is telling this, and our Premdas Paramabhavaji Maharaj is quoting to the Sannyasi Thakur. Antare nishtha kar bahya lok vyavhar achirata Krishna tomai karibe udhar. I remember once one very rich devotee came in front of his spiritual master, and after a Bhagavatam class said that Maharaj, as a Grihastha, I have decided I will only wear a white kurta and a white dhoti. But my wife just bought me a dozen colored kurtas and nice border wale colored dhotis from Gangotri store in Vrindavan, Loi Bazar. 1 dozen matching. Red border, red kurta. Blue border, blue kurta. But that trip only in Vrindavan, I decided that I have to be simple. I'm going to wear only white. So what should I do, Maharaj, now? मरकट वैराग्य ना कर लोक देखाइया, यथा योग्य विषय भुंज अनासक्त हैया. Guru Maharaj said, wear those 12 colorful dhoti and kurta thinking that they are white. instead of wasting now money on buying, he said, I will buy 3 white kurtas and 3 white dhotis, and from today I will only wear those 3 white kurtas, 3 white dhotis. Guru Maharaj said, abhi jo hai वही पहनो, उनको white समझो. That is the मरकट वैराग्य ना कर लोक देखाइया, यथा योग्य विषय भुंज अनासक्त हैया. You do it, but don't be asakt. अनासक्त हैया. And then अंतरे निष्ठा कर बाह्य लोक व्यवहार, अचिरात कृष्ण तोमाय करिबे उद्धार. Guru Maharaj said, अंतरे निष्ठा कर. You think inside your heart that they are white in color, white dhoti, white kurta. बाह्य लोक व्यवहार, and externally a wife has brought with so much love. My husband should look good. Externally you wear colorful, internally you think they are white, and you go, wife is happy, you are happy. Antare nishtha kara bhaya lok vyavhar, achirata Krishna tomai koribe uddhar. Very soon Krishna will deliver you if you do this. And then Thakur Mahashaya also quotes 2 verses from Shri Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu. Prapancha kataya buddhya hari sambandhi vastunaha mumukshubhi Parityago vairagyam phalgu kathyate. Phalgu vairagya, also called as markat vairagya, they are similar. It means artificial renunciation, incomplete renunciation. Phalgu vairagyam. What is that? Prapanchi kataya buddhya hari sambandhi vastun. Mumukshubhi parityago. Parityago, to give up things without understanding their sambandha with Sri Hari. Without understanding the sambandha of a vastu with Sri Hari, Hari sambandhi vastuna, not understanding, and having a material conception that everything is material, and then just parityago, rejecting it. But that can be used in Krishna's service. The dictaphone was used, money was used to print books, isn't it? So you have to see the Hari sambandhi vastuna, see the sambandha of the vastu with Hari and use it in Hari's service. That is called Yukta Vairagya. Anasaktasya Vishayan Yatharham Upayunjatah Nirbandha Krishna Sambandhe Yuktam Vairagya Muchyate. Anasakta Vishayan. Not being attached to the objects of sense gratification. Yatharham Upayunjate Nirbandha Krishna Sambandhe. Understanding the Krishna Sambandha and using it without attachment for Krishna. That is called Yuktam Vairagya Muchyate. How beautiful. So these 2 Bengali verses are explained in Sanskrit. Like that. So Sannyasi Thakur says, I want to give up my Mayavadi dress. Babaji Maharaj says, where there is too much concern for external appearance, there is inattention to the soul's inner function. If we are too much external, how I look, मेरा शिखा तो ठीक है ना अच्छे से, तगड़ा शिखा है एकदम nice, मेरा एक कुर्ते में कोई ये तो नहीं है ना, crease तो नहीं है ना, अच्छे से इस्त्री किया. When we become too much concerned about external appearance, there is inattention to the soul's inner function. When your heart becomes pure, you will automatically develop attachment for the external behavior of Vaishnavas. And there will be no fault if you change your external dress at that time. Because see, now one sannyasi has given you the sannyas dress when you got initiated in your sampradaya. So unless you are completely internally fixed in your nishtha for Mahaprabhu, don't give that up. Otherwise it will be aparadh. So wait, step by step. When internally you are completely steeped in the mood of Mahaprabhu, then this question only will not there. That should I change? Is it okay to change? Then it will be natural. This is very important. Absorb your heart completely in trying to follow the teachings of Shri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And later you may adopt the external items of Vaishnava Dharma to which you are naturally inclined. Very common question. Many times devotees have this question that my lecturer, my professor asked me, can I get Gopi Chandan? Can I get Tulsi Kanthimala? No, this is not some fashion. Please. This is Guru Pradatta. This is Gopi Chandan, this Tulsi Kanthimala, there are some rules and regulations. Yes, they bestow great benefit on the wearer of Tilak and Kanthimala. But there are also some rules and regulations that have to be followed so that we don't commit aparadh toward Tulsi Devi and toward the Gopi Chandan, which is made up of the cosmetics and the dust from the lotus feet of Srimati Radharani mixed with her tears of love at the Gopi Talav in Dwarka. That is Gopi Chandan. So there is some sanctity to it. Anybody cannot just like Srimad Bhagavatam, we keep it on a proper book rack, we keep it covered, we keep on a proper stand, and then we read. There is a certain paddhati, certain vidhi to handling Srimad Bhagavatam. It's not just some novel, it's not just some magazine, some newspaper. No, it's Granthara Srimad Bhagavatam, it is Sakshat Krishna. Tulsi Kantimala is Sakshat Vrinda Devi. Gopi Chandan is Sakshat Radharani. So therefore, we have to be very careful. We cannot. Therefore, this is very important. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur is saying, absorb your heart completely in trying to follow the teaching of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And later, you may adopt the external items of Vaishnava Dharma, to which you are naturally inclined. So now, we have finished our time. So I will stop here. I am sorry, I could not complete the chapter. We are on slide 29. There are 35 slides. So we'll definitely finish next time. So I will stop now. Shri Jaiva Dharma ki jai, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur Mahashay ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanandi Hari Hari Bol. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Jai Srila Prabhupada. Yes, Shama Kishori Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you very much for the wonderful explanation. Prabhuji, my question is from 2 classes ago when I was not able to unmute. We are talking about the 3 tattvas, Ishwar, Jiva and Maya, and it was said that Jiva is part and parcel of Krishna, and then Maya is the energy of Krishna. So my question was, is Maya also not part and parcel of Krishna? Because we see that Maya is Durga Devi or Parvati. So is she not a soul?
Yes, energy is part of the energetic. Shakti is part of the Shaktiman. Aham sarvasya prabhavaha matah sarvam pravartate. So Maya Devi also is part of Krishna. So Mama Maya Durate, Krishna's Maya. So yes, Maya also is coming from Krishna. Everything is coming from Krishna. Sarva Karana Karanam Ishvara Parama Krishna. So yes.
So energy and soul, like part and parcel, are these 2 different categories? Then why is Maya?
No. We are also energy, na? We are Tatastha Shakti, Bahiranga Shakti, Antiranga Shakti, all Shakti only.
So different types of energies.
Different types of energy. Krishna is Shaktiman, and we are Shakti. All of us are Shakti.
But we are Tatastha and she is Bahiranga. So that is the difference, Prabhuji. Why is it categorized in such a way that there are 3? That you have Krishna, you have Jiva, and you have Maya. So why is she put in a separate category if she is also Shakti and we are also Shakti?
Because Bahiranga Shakti is one. The Durga Devi or the Bahiranga Shakti, external energy is one. And Jivas are individual. We are like the sparks emanating from fire. So we are Anu. And Maya Shakti is one big external Shakti. That's why she's able to overwhelm us when we turn away from Krishna. Krishna Bahirmukha Jiv Bhogavancha Kare, Nikatastha Maya Tare Jhapati Adhare. Like a tigress, she catches us. We are like a small little rabbit. So as long as we are with Krishna, we are okay. But when we turn away from Krishna, then she catches us. So therefore, so Maya is one big Shakti. We are also Shakti, but we are individual Jiva souls. So therefore, because of our minuteness, Jaiva Dharma explains, because of minuteness, quality of minuteness, we are overwhelmed by the external energy. And then the internal energy, also one big internal energy. Now, external energy has its divisions. There is Sattva Gun, Rajagun, Tamogun, there is Bhumi, Apo, Nalo, Vayur, Kham, Mano, Buddhir. These 8 divisions are there. Similarly, Antaranga Shakti has Sandhini, Ladini, Samvit Shakti, like that. There are the Nitya Siddha Jivas emanating directly from Radha and Krishna. So all that is there in the spiritual world also. And in the Tatastha Shakti also there is variety. All these Jivas are there, all of us. So therefore it is categorized differently because their functions are different. The Antaranga Shakti is Chid Shakti. Bahiranga Shakti, Maya Shakti is Achid Shakti. It's different. The Chid Shakti doesn't undergo transformation. There is no vikar. Whereas the Bahiranga Shakti, Maya Shakti undergoes transformation. There is annihilation, maintenance, creation, all those. Shrishti, Sthiti, Pralay goes on. So the functions are different. So they are categorized differently. Is that okay?
Yes. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Bhakti Prada Champaklata Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Prabhuji, thank you for explaining us very nicely about this Shaktis and different modes of nature, accordingly how they act on the living entity and living entities, jivas, everything. Thank you very much, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, my question is, Prabhuji, what is difference between the Radha Kunda tilak and the normal tilak? And there are different colors also in tilak. I see like there is some red color tilak and yellow color tilak. Different colors are also there. So what is the difference, Prabhuji?
Hare Krishna. Actually, in Kali Yuga now, it's very unfortunate. Even the Kanthi-malas that we get, many of them are made up of neem wood or kadamba wood. In Vrindavan, I was asking. Actually, all of them may not be pure tulsi. It's very unfortunate. Similarly, Chandan also, there are so many contaminations in Chandan also. It may not be authentic Gopi Chandan. So there are a few tricks that devotees should do, because see, in Kali Yuga there are so many contaminations, but there are two things. One is Krishna is Bhavgrahi, even if it is not Tulsi. Now, if you read Prabhupada Lilamrit, when Srila Prabhupada gave initiations in America initially, there were no Kanthi-malas, Tulsi Kanthi-malas. So they were made up of redwood wood or different oak tree wood. People would just buy some wood from some hardware store and they would make the neck beads and chanting beads with their own hands. It was not Tulsi, there was no Tulsi available. But Srila Prabhupada would touch it and say, take this time of initiation. People were wearing wooden neck beads which were not Tulsi. And Prabhupada was giving them. But because a pure devotee is touching them, it is not different from Tulsi. Bhavgrahi Janardhan. Krishna accepts the bhav. If the bhav is there that I am wearing Vrinda Devi around my kantha, now I will not speak anything that is unfavorable for Krishna Bhakti. I will chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Vrinda Devi is counting. I will chant continuously. I will not break the four regulative principles. Tulsi Devi, Vrinda Devi, Sakshi sitting here. So then it's bhav. Krishna will accept it. In the Russian jail, devotees were putting tilak with toothpaste. They had no deities. They would look at the empty wall and think that Radha Madhav are there, Narsim Bhagwan is there, Panchatattva are there, and they would have the whole morning program there. Narsimha Arti, they would imagine Tulsi Devi is there, they would do Tulsi Arti, Samsara Dava. Bhavotsavena bhajatam rasakama dhenu. That is bhakti. Bhavotsavena, it is bhav. So one aspect is that Krishna is bhavgrahi Janardhan. Murkhovadati Vishnaye, Dhirasvadati Vishnave, Ubhayohi samam punyam. Ubhayohi samam punyam. Both get same credit. Ubhayohi samam punyam bhavagrahi Janardhana. That is one siddhanta. Second aspect is a devotee is chatur. Jai bhaje Krishna, say bada chatura. So Kali Yuga is throwing different contaminations at us, different problems at us. Things are not authentic and pure. So we have to use our chaturta. Somebody devotee is going to Dwarka. From the Gopi Talab, we can ask them to bring that big rock of Chandan. That is authentic. We go to Vrindavan, we should bring some Raj. We go to Radha Kund, we should get from some authentic place, original Radha Kund tilak. Okay? And we can mix it up. That's what I do. This tilak that I'm putting, this is a combination of Gopi Chandan, Vrajraj, and Radha Kund tilak. And also, to make the mixture, I used a dried tulsi stick. So there is tulsi kashtha, tulsi wood also in this. So it's a mixture of four things: tulsi kashtha, Radha Kund Raj, Vraj Raj, and Gopi Chandan. So devotees can do something like that. And I got this idea from Sripad Ayendar Prabhu. Sripad Ayendar Prabhu used to do that. He used to also put some Raj from the base of a tulsi plant. So like that, 5 ingredients. Sripad Ayendar Prabhu would make his unique tilak and put. So now whatever contamination is, we have avoided it. We have got so many things, powerful. So these 2 things you remember. Is that helpful, Mataji? I don't know what I said.
Prabhuji, it is really helpful. And about Tulsi caste, Prabhuji, like, is it okay if we just don't apply Chandan to the deities and apply only Tulsi caste and Tulsi?
Chandan should be applied, especially when it is summer. Krishna likes it.
But now, like, it's not full summer. I thought like I'll apply like this. So that is that okay, Prabhuji?
We should practice what is given in the Shastra. Krishna likes Chandan.
It is very much nice when compared to Chandan, right, Prabhuji? Tulsi caste.
Yes, Tulsi caste we can apply, but Shastra also says Chandan. Hari Bhakti Vilas says we should offer Chandan. Yeah,
right.
We should offer Chandan also.
Okay. Actually, I used to apply Prabhuji, but Gopi Chandan, I found some little sand particles. So I thought I don't want to apply this.
So you can take sandalwood and make the Chandan on the rock.
Yes.
You can get sandalwood anywhere, even in Patel Brothers Indian store. You can get sandalwood now in America, or you can get it from India. Tell someone to get it, but you should apply Chandan, Mataji. Krishna likes Chandan.
Is it?
Yeah, Krishna loves Chandan, so please offer Chandan also. You can apply a Tulsi caste paste also, but Chandan also. We should always follow what is there in the Shastra.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
You're welcome. And Tulsi Kantimala, try to get authentic. If not, there are some devotees, there are YouTube videos also, they make it at home. Or you just buy with faith, whatever it is. And what I have done is, I bought it from Vrindavan. And then I know that Kantimala wala, and I asked him, Prabhuji, please mujhe satya batao, ye Tulsi ka hi caste hai na? उन्होंने कहा कि वृंदावन में रहते हैं, आपसे झूठ नहीं बोलेंगे, हम खुद घर पे बनाते हैं, ये तुलसी ही है, बिल्कुल तुलसी है. And then this Radha Krishna that I have, he said that this is Kadamba, because इतना बड़ा तुलसी का काश नहीं मिलता है, such thick tulsi is not available. So this is Kadamba, but the beads are all tulsi. He promised me. So I bought it, and then I kept it on tulsi plant. On a tulsi plant I kept, and then offered it at the lotus feet of Radha Sham Sundar, and then I wore. So now it is prasadi, it is tulsi. So like that we can do. It's all about bhav, but we should be careful also. So is that okay, Mataji?
Yes, Prabhuji, but like I have tulsi sticks, but I cannot make. I
also tried. I saw the video and I tried myself, but I was so bad at it. Finally, I gave up. So then when I went to Vrindavan, I got.
But it will be 100% guarantee that I only made this one, and there will be some kind of attachment to that when we make ourselves. But it is not possible also.
Yeah. So we have to be practical. It's okay. Just get it from Vrindavan, and you can ask them, please, hame satya batao, ye tulsi hi hai na? And generally Brajvasis, they will tell. And then you just offer it to Tulsi Devi. Keep it on Tulsi. So touch it to Tulsi. So by touching it to Tulsi, even if it is not Tulsi, it will become Tulsi. And then offer it to the lotus feet of Radha Krishna. And then you wear it. Okay?
Thank you very much, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Okay, so we are getting late. 2 last questions. Madhur Prabhu, Gaur Kishore Das.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam. Thank you, Prabhu, for your nice classes. And Prabhu, I have the question that you said, or Bhaktivinoda Thakur said, Advaitavad is individual, same to Prem, as Prem is same in everyone's heart is same. Then is Advaitavad is Naimittik Dharma or Nitya Dharma?
So we clearly saw it is Naimittik Dharma, because it stopped short of talking about unmotivated prem. Srila Shankaracharya himself is a pure devotee, but based on time, place, and circumstances, he talks up to liberation, but doesn't give too many details. He just points in the direction that Hari Bhakti, Hari Bhajan is the way to purify the heart and attain liberation. And then Shripad Ramanujacharya, Shripad Madhvacharya took it from there. So the doctrine taught by Shripad Shankaracharya in its original form is also Naimittik Dharma. It cannot be called Nitya Dharma because there is no talk of prem. Okay? It points towards prem, but there is no direct talk of prem. Is that okay, Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhu, I got it. Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you very much.
Janeshwar Gauranga Prabhu, last question. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandavat Pranam. Thank you for the wonderful class. Prabhuji, I have 2 quick questions. First, regarding Nitya Dharma. And you mentioned that Nitya Dharmas are of different grades. So, and any Dharma which brings out pure love of God is Nitya Dharma, because Krishna Prem. So other religions, when they say we love God, or Christianity, they say we love God, or any. So would that be considered Nitya Dharma then? A different grade of Nitya Dharma?
So see, within Christianity also, there are different types of practitioners. There are certain monks like the Benedictine monks who are brahmacharis. Their aim is love for God, love for everyone, and they live very austere, very simple, very pure lives. So that may be a type of Nitya Dharma because they're accepting the eternality of God, they're accepting themselves as eternal servants of God, and they are living pure lives. So that may be one type of Nitya Dharma. At the same time, if someone is thinking that by practicing a certain religion, I will get heaven, or I will pray to God so that I will get my daily bread, or I will pray to God so that I get freedom from disease, then that is very clearly Naimittik Dharma, because there is a cause there. You are doing it for some hetu, with some expectation. So many we see preachers, they show that somebody has got paralysis and then you sprinkle some holy water, or some priest touches them and suddenly they become fine. That is absolutely not Nitya Dharma. That is Naimittik Dharma. That is Kaitab Dharma. So like that. Is that okay, Janeshwar Gaurang?
Yes, bro. Yes, bro. And my second question was going back to a couple of classes. We turned. It is mentioned that when we turned away from Krishna, then we got into the grasp of Maya. But then I had asked you the question, and you had mentioned that we were never in the spiritual sky, in the spiritual Golaka Vrindavan. So then, if you are not there, then how were you able to identify Krishna? Because if you're not, then how can you turn away from Krishna? Because you said we were in Mahavishnu. So I'm confused there a little bit, because you can turn away from Krishna if you're there with him.
Yes, so this will come in the next class, Prabhuji. Same chapter.
Okay.
We didn't get to that slide, but this will come next time. Srila Prabhupada also was asked this question, and Srila Prabhupada gave the example of milk. Srila Prabhupada says milk comes from a cow, correct? Milk
Right.
comes from the cow, but since the beginning, the milk is separated from the cow. It comes in the pot, and then it goes to the kitchen, and then it becomes yogurt, it becomes paneer, it becomes so many things. It gets separated from the cow. So similarly, we are like that. We are coming from God, but like I explained to you last time, we come from Mahavishnu, and we go back to Mahavishnu. Come from Mahavishnu, go back to Mahavishnu. Come from Mahavishnu, go back to Mahavishnu. When the creation takes place, Mahavishnu exhales, we come out. But we have never gone to the Paravyoma and Vaikuntha. We have never originated there. And Jaiva Dharma will explain that. So when we say Krishna Bhulya Se Jeev, there it means that ultimately everything is coming from Krishna. We are Krishna's marginal potency. We are Krishna's amsha, Krishna's fragmental parts and parcels. Mahavishnu also is coming from Krishna only. So in that sense, we originally belong to Krishna, but somehow since the beginning of time, we have been away from Krishna. And ultimately, because of the mercy of Guru and Krishna, who comes in this material world to attract us, when we turn towards Krishna, then we can go back to the Paravyoma, the spiritual sky, in the many Vaikuntha planets, or even Golok Vrindavan. So like that. In that sense, we have turned away from Krishna. Not that we were in Vaikuntha and then we fell down from there.
Right.
That is not. But and then how from time, the origin of the time, that will come in next class, Prabhuji, where Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur talks about the different times. There is the Jada time of the material world, and there is the Daiva time, divine time in the spiritual world. In the spiritual world, it is always present tense. And in the material world, there is past, present, and future. So the Jiva, when the Jiva is inside Mahavishnu, there is no influence of time, as we know in the material world. But when Mahavishnu does the creation, he glances at the Mahatattva and impregnates the Jivas, then the three modes of material nature and Kal, material time, it starts acting on the Mahatattva. And then creation takes place. Many universes are created. In each universe, there is Brahmaji who takes birth, who does secondary creation, like that. So even this material time, there is a beginning. Even though the time, Kal, Shakti is eternal, because in cyclical order it's happening.
Right.
Mahavishnu breathes out, there is creation. He breathes in, there is annihilation, like that. So when we say we fell down, we are talking in terms of the material time, which has a past, present, and future. But once the Jiva is in the spiritual world, where the origin is there from Vishnu or beyond, then when we talk about the spiritual realm, when the Jiva enters the spiritual realm, there is no conception of past, present, and future. There is no influence of Kal only there. There is no Daiva, there is no Jada Kal there. There is no material time there in the spiritual world. So this conception of we fell down, we were in Maya, all that disappears, and then everything is Nitya, because that time is Nitya time. So this is and then Thakur Mahashaya says that it's hard to understand this. We have to do Nam Bhajan. And then slowly, once we start experiencing spiritual taste, then these spiritual truths will be comprehensible. We will be able to understand them, and they will be revealed to us. But for now, suffice it to say that we were never in Vaikuntha, we were never in Golok Vrindavan. Nobody falls from there. We did not fall from there. Our origin is Mahavishnu, and we have been always part of the creation, maintenance, annihilation in the material world. But when we develop prem, then we will go beyond the Paravyoma into the Vaikuntha planets, into Golok Vrindavan. And there is no conception of past, present, and future. There is no influence of time only there. Influence of time is only in the material realm. Is that okay, Prabhuji?
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you so much.
So I think we took all the questions. So we'll stop here. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai.
Jai.
Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.